fellow Toastmasters. I'm starting something new today. I'm going to do a series of talks about one person. I've only known one other person to do this, and that was somebody from my other club who over 35 speeches over 8 years and the same number of Toastmaster topics has spoken only about themselves in 2 or 3 issues in their lives. So hopefully this series will about somebody more interesting. I'm going to be speaking about the Russian ballet dancer Rudolf Nureyev. Why would I pick him? Well, one of the things that is interesting about him is that he is, out of all of the maybe 200 or 300 biographies I've read, he's the most interesting character. So complex. He's done so much. He accomplished so much. He lived on a level that you and I can't even imagine. And I just found him very fascinating. Now, what initially got me interested in him is kind of strange. If you follow me on Facebook, you know I'm very into interior decor. And I saw his Paris apartment, and it completely blew me out of the water. And when I found out here was a man who came from poverty on a level you can't even imagine, and he was an autodidact, and he taught himself all about art and antiques, going to museums, and created this great collection. I just think that's very inspiring. He was the most influential dancer of the 20th century. He dominated a field, and his impact on the field, which I will tell you about later. He was a genius, a freaking genius. In addition to his dancing, and look at how he can jump. He brought the wealth of Russian choreography and technique to the West, because we hadn't really come over here yet. He brought it all. One of the things that's fascinating for me in doing, look at that.
Wow.
One of the things that's fascinating to me is a lot of my speeches is the preparation I put into the video. By the way, I read 2 books to prepare for this: Nureyev, The Life by Julie Kavenaugh, and Perpetual Motion by Otis Stuart. And I would photograph pages of things that were quotes that were interesting. And I had over 80 pages saved after that, and over 150 pictures. And for the video part, photographers loved Nureyev. I mean, he was not only handsome, he had that it quality, he was exotic looking. Because he was not even Russian, he was a Tartar. He was from a place we've never seen anybody. And he was photographed by the greatest photographers in the world. So I had a lot of photographs for him. He was a total mass of contradictions. People like that always make very good case studies when you're doing a biography. He had so many completely different parts of himself. And one of the things that's very interesting about him is he was able to come up from nothing. He became a celebrity on a level that we don't really have celebrities nowadays. We have Kim Kardashian, but who does she hang out with? He hung out with everybody who was really anybody. And he had affairs with most of them too. He got around. To me, one of the qualities of a really great person is that they have the quality of being transformative. They change the lives of people around them. He completely, utterly turned lives around in his industry and friends. And he also completely changed companies. Some of the leading ballet companies in the world, he turned them completely around and made them great companies. He really had a huge impact on his industry. And then there's the dancing. Just wait till you see him. Just wait. He had a couple of things going for him. He had this temperament. When he went on stage, you just could not avoid looking at him. Even if he stood still, he would stand still and he would flex his, you know what. And if he thought things were boring, I mean, you always had your eyes on him. And he had this intense sexual magnetism. So, women and gay men were very attracted to him, but straight men wanted to have that that he had. He had that alpha male quality. He was top dog, and straight guys wanted that. So I mean, everybody was attracted to this. I've talked about some of these opera singers that I've spoken of in the past, and I said they made all this great technique seem so easy, and you just didn't even notice how easy it is. Well, Nureyev was a showman. He made everything look really, really hard. So you really appreciated what he did, but he did it correctly. And he was like a high wire act without a net below him in all of his performances. It had that sort of energy. The comment is that, all we have now is video, but they say that video could only really capture maybe 20% of the impact that Nureyev had on audiences. One of the interesting things that he could do, I challenge any of you to think of an artist who could do this. There was a ballet star, Nijinsky, that he was compared to, who was a very early Russian dancer. Quality that Nureyev had, which was, when he was on stage, he stimulated your subconscious. He was so complex of a character. He would bring things out in you that, ordinary people wouldn't. And the response to him, he danced like 40-minute ovations. It became an art form for him. He was world famous for the ovations. The people just went crazy. Did you ever get the sound better? Good. Let's try this. Now, I'm doing an excerpt. I've split this in half. This is my favorite excerpt from him. It's from Romeo and Juliet. It's a balcony scene. He's with Margot Fontaine. I'm going to do a whole speech about the two of them together. This is some of the most gorgeous music I have ever heard in my life with Prokofiev. And it's some of their most amazing dancing. And I'll play the other part when he's dancing with her later. But this is just him dancing. And I want you to see what this guy can do. And remember one thing, when he jumps up high, you're not able to see how high he's really jumping because it's so fast. But he's jumping well over 3 feet in the air. So here we go. That's enough of that. Isn't that amazing? Am I making this up? Is he not just amazing? And one of the things that's so awesome is that I mean, he was a handsome man, but on stage, he became like a god. He was so much more attractive on stage. He had just this thing. He was a really amazing person for me to do this speech on. I think you're going to be very interested in the stuff that I'm going to be telling you, because he had a roller coaster life like you've never heard, and really interesting. So I hope you enjoyed the series of Rudolf Nureyev. Thank you.